It's definitely a matter of transparency and building
to be strict with the ingredients.
To be national in
Hello everyone and welcome to E-Talk, where we talk about the 5 E's: environment, earth, economy, energy and education. Today I'm pleased to be joined by 3 experts from 3 different parts of the world. Over here we have Abdullah from Morocco, who is a power engineer, and to my right we have Ala, who is an Egyptian and he is a business journalist. And then we have Yasir from Pakistan, who is an international relations expert. Today we will discuss a topic which has shaken the world. COVID-19 virus has affected a lot of people, a lot of lives, and it has been one that has made the global community realize that our problems are indeed connected. One of them, the famous American pharmaceutical company Pfizer, has recently stirred a storm over a video of suspected development of the COVID-19 virus itself. To learn more, let's go back to this video.
In January 2023, a video circulated online of a man, allegedly the head of research and development at the U.S. pharmaceutical company Pfizer, revealed in an unannounced interview that the company was considering developing a new COVID-19 variant virus on its own. The man also referred to the vaccine business as a cash cow. On the 27th, Pfizer issued an urgent statement on its website, saying that it wanted to set the record straight regarding recent allegations that Pfizer was conducting research into functional acquisition and directed evolution. The statement said that Pfizer did not conduct gain-of-function or directed evolution research during the development of the new COVID-19 vaccine, which is being developed jointly by Pfizer and Biotech Germany.
Let me start with you, Abdullah. Have you watched the video, and if you can comment a bit about the authenticity, impact this video has had?
I already watched the video. However, I don't believe in the Western media actually, and the authenticity of the video is questionable. I think there is no actual, that it doesn't reflect the actual reality, and we don't know the motive of those who record the video.
I mean, I'll come to you, Yasir. So do you think it's a question of trust and transparency, at least to the degree that the consumer expects from Pfizer?
I think Pfizer, there were a lot of allegations even in the past regarding different controversies which were named because of certain medication which Pfizer was coming up with in the past. So people definitely have trust deficit when it comes to pharmaceutical big names like Pfizer as well. Another thing is, yes, it's definitely a matter of transparency and building a trust amongst its consumers, because at the end of the day, it's not about selling the product or selling a medicine. So I think it is as sensitive as like walking on the eggshells, because if they don't build this trust among its consumers, why people would have it in the first place and why they will have any trust. That's why there are a lot of fears and doubts, not only in the US but also in the European countries and other parts of the world.
That's actually that's the point I'm also thinking. There was a clarification within days of the video making the rounds on social media. Coming from Yasir's point, Abdullah, indeed, this is a question of human health. Regulation, there is also a distrust in the degree of regulation in pharmaceutical companies in the US, because of which that reaction was seen. People have their suspicions. What do you know about the current regulation status? Where should it be?
Yes, I believe because the outbreak of the pandemic, governments accept or the use of these vaccinations without a lot of measures of the safety. We don't question much the effectiveness. We believe in the data that have been done on the effectiveness of these vaccines, but how about the side effects? How about the safety? How about the other health issues that come up with these vaccinations? So we need to be strict toward the regulations. We need more transparency from these companies. We need to be strict with the ingredients, should be labeled, should be like
Pure.
pure, and the process also should be like transparent to the people and how these vaccines are manufactured and processed.
Maybe this is also an important question to do with regulation. Yasser, what's your view? Why is it, that such safety standards are being questioned, and how can we globally develop some international standards when people
I think
consume these?
the doubts were already there, but what helped COVID-19 to the entire world is it's exposed the true nature of the pharmaceutical industry and how it works. I've heard sometime a few years back that a time will come when the multinationals will rule the world. And I think so this is the time we are living in. So that's how it works. As far as the regulations are concerned, I think WHO, as we believe that it has its instrumental part to play to bring about the consensus among different nations and governments that enough is enough. We need to stop this.
Right.
Because we cannot play with human lives. Yes, business aside, which is fine to some extent. If they earn their profit, the research and development, it's part and parcel of that. But research and development should be rather more focused on how to bring about curing the diseases. And
That actually exists.
Yes, and not earning billions of dollars out of this.
But then
I
the
just
question
want
is,
to add
go
some
ahead.
one thing about this. They have to stop putting money in this kind of industry. It has to be national in spending, not just a private equity business. Because if you put like business, this kind of industry for the business, we don't trust like the authorities as the persons, but even more, we don't trust the businessmen, because the only thing they are looking for is the profit.
What are your views on this, Abdullah? Do you think if the government took basic responsibility and this wasn't a profiteering enterprise, would that make a difference?
Surely it will make a difference. I agree with what Yasser and Ala mentioned. Like the more diseases are created by these companies, and there is no awareness among the people about like the processed food. We all know like the cancer figures are going crazily like increasing by the increase of this processed food. There is like correlations between the two. It's very questionable thing. And I think like the government should stand, because these companies like profits a lot and they hide a lot of data from the people.
Right.
We can see like those who are willing to live a healthy life, or those who are taking, for example, like drug enhancing performance and this stuff, but like they don't know the side effects.
Right.
They are very vulnerable citizens.
The accountability
Yes,
is quite low.
yes.
Regulation is low. What are your thoughts on the fact that some countries want to further develop, research and further development of biotechnologies? Do you think this will have any significant impact on humanity, and if so, what?
I believe in the research and development. I have a positive stance about like the development of biotechnology. It will have a huge impact on the people's life. However, there is a side of concern, is like how some companies are weaponizing these technology to spread many diseases using this kind of technology.
This is happening as
yes,
you speak,
this
yeah?
is like the coming like maybe biological war or something.
The WHO has approved the application of a generic version of medicine, which is the Nirmacom, manufactured by Indian pharmaceutical company Hetero. What are your views on this development? What impact would it have?
Actually, I think the HO approval to generic drugs and medicines is a positive things. We need to stop the monopoly of medicines and manufacturing medicines because these giant companies like making tremendous profits by themselves and keeping the people. Some people need these medicines, but like they cannot afford it. They don't have the financial support from the governments. Governments should also step forward to stop like the monopoly or manipulation of these like drugs all over the world. We see like in Europe, some countries didn't accept people, those who have Chinese vaccine. I don't know why, because they want vaccines from their side. And this is like a very obvious example of how they monopoly like the medical or industry.
Medical industry is being
Yes.
monopolized. Ala, what are your thoughts on this development under the WHO? Does it have that equalizing effect that Abdullah talked about?
To be honest, the only question the humanity have to answer before I answer your question, are we still trust the World Health Organization after what happened in 2020, and they are very late to announce coronavirus as an international emergency.
Pandemic, global pandemic.
And this is the whole thing. We all know, no one will deny this. So just to sell a new virus of a vaccine, why we are talking, okay, we are living with it as the influenza and any other disease. Why there is no way one talking about producing medicine after 3 years of studying? Let's say they study the
But then,
virus.
Ala, I mean, I think, of course, like we are all entitled to different views. That's what makes the conversation lively. Every country has medicines that are there to fight the symptoms of COVID, right?
Symptoms,
So,
not
is it the mandate of the
disease.
WHO to
We are talking about the symptoms, just to reduce the symptoms effects.
the extent of symptoms? Exactly.
So we are not talking about medicine, like take this medicine and we will be better, and after 2 days or week or 3 weeks or whatever. And did they study the coronavirus effect on the human bodies that much and that well to say this vaccine gonna work with the whole people without any side effects? We are already see a lot of side effects for the coronavirus and for the vaccine who we talk already before we got the coronavirus.
I think who knows what what is the intake of all this medicine and what would be the reactions, what this vaccine is all about, what they are injecting in us. We don't know. As a layman, I don't know, and probably most of us don't know. So, and I've heard that some of the medicines actually are there to make a ground for the next disease to attack. Yes. And I give you an example. For like the benchmark of the diabetic patients was 140 at one point. In the first thing in the morning, like when they do it, the diabetic patients, when they check themselves. And suddenly the benchmark was reduced to 120.
It is a long debate, and I think it's nice to have lively and insightful views on topics that are of global significance, especially to humanity. So I think what we can take away from today's discussion is that indeed the discussion, the concept of regulation is very important. Companies, be they pharmaceutical or others, especially in the health industry, need to be held to high standards. What we need is better global institutions and better checks and balances so that humanity as a whole doesn't continue to perish further. With that, thank you, all of you, for your views, and thank you for watching. Until next time.